Geobyte.
Hello friends, welcome to the GeoByte. In this video, let us discuss the solutions for previous ESET exam questions for the topic internal combustion engines. Dear friends, the each and every problem is equally important, and hence my request is you please watch till the last problem. After listening all the problems, you practice with pen and paper. While you are practicing, if you find any difficulty, you please send all your doubts to the GeoByte. Definitely, I will answer all your questions within 24 hours. Let us take the very first problem. Very first problem is the four strokes in a petrol engine are in the following order. In case of four stroke engine, whether that four stroke engine may be diesel or petrol type, the order is like this. The first stroke is suction stroke. The second stroke is compression stroke. Compression stroke. The third stroke is expansion stroke, is also called power stroke. Power or expansion stroke. And the last stroke called fourth stroke is exhaust stroke. Exhaust stroke. This is the order. First stroke is suction, compression, power and exhaust. Look at the options. Option A, suction and exhaust. No. Suction, after suction it should be the compression. Look at the B, exhaust, suction, compression. Suction, okay, suction, compression, power and exhaust. Absolutely correct. So after exhaust, it should be the suction, compression and power. Therefore option B is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. This information is true not only for a petrol engine but also for diesel engine 4-stroke type. I hope you understood. Let us take the second problem. Look at the second problem. Supercharging is essential. Diesel engine, rail engine, aircraft engine, marine engine. Of course, diesel engine also needs supercharging, but among the given options, I can select aircraft engine. Aircraft engine is compulsory required the mechanism of supercharging. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. Let us take another problem. Look at the third problem. For each mole of oxygen, number of moles of nitrogen required for complete combustion. Dear friends, remember the atmospheric air is maintaining mainly nitrogen and oxygen. Atmospheric air is mainly maintaining nitrogen and oxygen. Remember, by weight, nitrogen percentage is around 77% and oxygen is 23%. It is by weight. By weight. By volume or in terms of moles, number of moles. By volume, 79% of nitrogen and 21% of oxygen. Volume, by volume or in terms of number of moles. So in terms of number of moles, no, in terms of number of moles, atmospheric air is maintaining 0.21 moles of oxygen plus 0.79 moles of nitrogen. Therefore, For complete combustion, the for each mole of oxygen, number of moles of nitrogen required for complete combustion. How many moles are required? 79 by 0.79 divided by 0.21. It is equal to 79 by 21. So that is the answer for that particular question. For each mole of oxygen, number of nitrogen moles required is equal to 79 by 21. Therefore, option D is absolutely correct. I hope all of you understood. Let's take another problem. Look at the fourth problem. Stoichiometric ratio means chemically correct air fuel ratio. Look at the options. Option A, the ratio of air to fuel for maximum efficiency. No. Option B, the ratio of air to fuel to ensure incomplete combustion. Not incomplete combustion. Option B also wrong. Option C, chemically correct air fuel ratio by weight. Absolutely correct. Stoichiometric air fuel ratio means chemically correct air fuel ratio by weight. Option C is absolutely correct. Let us take another problem. Look at the fifth problem. Bomb calorimeter is used to determine. Dear friends, bomb calorimeter is used for measuring the calorific value of solid and liquid fuels, whereas Junker's gas calorimeter is used for measuring the calorific value of gaseous fuels. So look at the options. Here, bomb calorimeter for finding the calorific value of solid and liquid fuels. Option A, the viscosity of the liquid. No, absolutely not correct. Option B, calorific value of the liquid and solid fuels. Absolutely correct. For finding the calorific value of solid and liquid fuels, we can use the bomb calorimeter. I hope you might have seen the bomb calorimeter in your IC engines lab also. This problem is very important problem. 5-star problem. 5-star problem means most expected problem in the competitive exams. Let's take another problem. Look at the sixth problem. In a 4-stroke cycle SI engine, the camshaft runs. Dear friends, remember, in case of 4-stroke engine, the cyclic operations are completed by 4 strokes of the piston or 2 revolutions of the crank. And as you know, 4-stroke engines are operated by valve mechanism, and each valve, that is inlet valve, is opened only one time for the 4 strokes of the piston, and exhaust valve also opened only one time for the 2 revolutions of the crank or 4 strokes of the piston. Since the valve mechanism is operated by cam and rocker arm mechanism, therefore that cam should be connected to the crank such that the speed of the cam must be equal to half of the crankshaft speed, because by the time the crankshaft is completing 2 revolutions, the valve has to be opened only in one time. Inlet valve is to be opened one time and outlet valve to be opened only one time. Therefore, the speed of the camshaft must be equal to half of the speed of the crankshaft. Look at the options. Option A, at the same speed of the crankshaft. No. Option B, at the half the speed of the crankshaft. Absolutely correct. The camshaft speed must be equal to half of the crankshaft speed. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. This problem also equally important. That's why I am marking this also a 5-star problem. 5-star problem. Let us take next problem. Look at the 7th problem. Turbo propeller has the following additional features over the turbojet. Only one additional feature is there for turbo propeller, that is propeller. In front of the whole engine you can find a big fan like arrangement, that is called propeller. So the turbo jet is having no propeller, whereas turbo propeller is having propeller at the front side. Therefore option D is absolutely correct. Let us take the next problem. Look at the next problem. The function of the diffuser in a jet engine is, the diffuser function is exactly the opposite function of nozzle. If I take the nozzle function is to increase the kinetic energy by dropping the pressure energy. It means nozzle is converting the pressure energy to kinetic energy. That means by the time the material is passing through the nozzle, pressure energy is decreasing. That drop of pressure energy is converted to kinetic energy. Whereas diffuser function is exactly opposite to that of the nozzle. The diffuser function is to convert from kinetic energy to pressure energy. Kinetic energy to pressure energy. It means by the time the gas is flowing through the diffuser, in case of turbojet engine, kinetic energy is dropping. That drop of kinetic energy is converted to pressure energy. So anyhow, the diffuser function is to increase the pressure energy by dropping the kinetic energy. Look at the options. Option A, to increase the velocity of air. No. Option B, make the flow in streamline. No, not at all. Look at the option C, convert pressure energy to kinetic energy. No, that is the duty of the nozzle. Option C also not correct. Therefore option D might be correct. Convert kinetic energy into pressure energy. Absolutely correct. The diffuser function is to convert kinetic energy of the gas to pressure energy, which is connected to the turbojet engine. I hope all of you understood. Let us take the 9th problem. Look at the 9th problem. The efficiency of diesel engine depends upon option A, temperature limits, B, pressure ratio, C, compression ratio, D, cutoff ratio and compression ratio. Option D is absolutely correct, because the diesel cycle efficiency is equal to 1 minus 1 by RC rest gamma minus 1 into rho power gamma minus 1 by gamma into rho minus 1. So this is the formula for finding the thermal efficiency of diesel cycle, where RC equal to compression ratio. RC equal to compression ratio, that is equal to volume before compression by volume after compression, and rho equal to cutoff ratio. Cutoff ratio, that is equal to volume of the gas after combustion divided by volume of the gas before combustion. It is equal to volume of air after heat supplied, after heat supplied, divided by volume of air before heat supplied, or I can say after compression. So anyhow, from this I can say that the diesel cycle efficiency depends on not only compression ratio but also cutoff ratio rho. Option D is absolutely correct. Let us take another problem. Look at the 10th problem. If the compression ratio of a diesel cycle is 18, compression ratio may be marked as RC is equal to 18, okay, and cutoff occurs at 5% of the strokes, then the cutoff ratio is. Let me discuss this problem with the PV diagram. If I take the PV diagram, pressure versus volume diagram for diesel cycle or diesel engine, it consists of isentropic compression, 1 to 2 isentropic compression, followed by 2 to 3 constant pressure heat addition, followed by 3 to 4 isentropic expansion, followed by 4 to 1 constant volume heat rejection. That is the diesel cycle. The volume limits, this is the total volume of the cylinder. I can mark V1. This is the clearance volume V2. Here compression ratio RC equal to V1 by V2 is given as 18. From this I can say that V1 equal to 18 V2. V1 equal to 18 V2. And that V2 I can say volume of the gas before heat supplied. Volume of the gas after heat supplied is V3. This is the V3. The cutoff takes place anywhere between the 2 and 3. It is given that cutoff takes place, right? Let me write it clearly. Cutoff takes place at cutoff occurs at 5% of the stroke. It is like this. Cutoff occurs equal to 5% of the stroke, 5% of swept volume. Stroke volume means swept volume. So here cutoff takes place anywhere between the 2 and 3. Therefore, I can write V3 minus V2, volume at state 3 minus volume at state 2 is equal to 5% means 0.05. Here swept volume equal to what? Swept volume equal to total volume V1 minus clearance volume V2. Here V1 minus V2, here swept volume Vs equal to total volume minus clearance volume. V3 minus V2 is equal to 0.05. Here V1, we wrote V1 in terms of V2. V1 equal to 18 V2. V1 equal to 18 V2 minus V2. It is equal to 0.05 multiplied by 17 V2. 17 multiplied by 0.05 equal to 0.85 V2 equal to V3 minus V2. From this V3 equal to 0.85 V2 plus V2. It is equal to 1.85 V2. V3 equal to 1.85 V2 or V3 by V2 is equal to 1.85. This V3 by V2 itself is called cutoff ratio denoted by rho. So anyhow, cutoff ratio rho equal to V3 by V2, that is equal to 1.85. Look at the options. 1.85. Option A itself is absolutely correct. Dear friends, remember cutoff ratio means the ratio between the volume ratio between the after heat addition and before heat addition. Volume after heat addition is V3. volume after heat addition is V3, volume before heat addition is V2, then cutoff ratio rho equal to volume after heat addition divided by volume before heat addition. That you got 1.85. This problem also very important problem. Therefore, I am marking this is also a 5-star problem. 5-star problem means the most expected problem in the competitive exams. I hope you got my point. Let us take the another problem. Look at the 11th problem. The average piston speed of the IC engine. The average piston speed of the IC engine or reciprocating compressor is 2ln. Average piston speed. Average piston speed equal to 2ln. Unit is meter per minute. 2ln, where L equal to stroke length. L equal to stroke length. It is in meters, and N equal to crank speed. Crank speed. It is in RPM, revolutions per minute. So anyhow, this formula can be taken not only for IC engine but also for a reciprocating compressor. Look at the option B. Option B is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. A diesel engine has a brake thermal efficiency of 25%. Brake thermal efficiency given 25%. It is equal to 0.25. Okay. Calorific value of fuel used is 41,800 kilojoules per kg. Calorific value CV equal to 41,800 kilojoules per kg. And the fuel ratio, air fuel ratio. And fuel air ratio, not fuel air ratio, air fuel ratio. Air fuel ratio by weight. That means mass of the air divided by mass of the air divided by mass of the fuel equal to 20. The work done per kg of the fuel. What is the work done? Work done is how much? Work done is how much if mass of fuel equal to 1 kg. That is the problem. As you know, the brake thermal efficiency equal to brake power by mass of the fuel multiplied by calorific value. Here brake thermal efficiency 0.25. It is equal to brake power divided by mass of the fuel. What is the mass of the fuel given? Mass of the fuel given is 1 kg. 1 multiplied by calorific value 41,800. You simplify this value for getting the brake power itself equal to work done 0.25 multiplied by 41,800. It is equal to around 10450. That is the amount of power developed by the engine. Look at the options. Look at the option B, 10450 kilojoules. That is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. This problem also equally important problem. That's why I am making this problem is also a 5-star problem. This kind of problems are very important for competitive exams. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. An engine has the following data. Indicated power equal to 30 kilowatts. indicated power equal to 30 kilowatts. Okay. Mass of fuel used 250 into 10 raised minus 5 kg per second. Mass flow rate of the fuel is equal to 250 into 10 raised minus 5. It is in kg per second. Okay. Calorific value of the fuel is 40,000. Calorific value capital CV equal to 40,000 kilojoules per kg. The indicated thermal efficiency of the engine is, you are asked to find the indicated thermal efficiency. Indicated thermal efficiency is how much? Here indicated thermal efficiency formula equal to indicated power divided by mass flow rate of the fuel multiplied by calorific value. Indicated power is 30 divided by mass flow rate of the fuel 250 into 10 raised minus 5 multiplied by calorific value 40,000. You simplify this value for getting around 0.3. 0.3 means 30%. Therefore, indicated thermal efficiency for the given problem is 30%. Now look at the option. Option C is 30%. Therefore, absolutely option C is correct. I hope you got my point. This problem also a important problem. That's why I'm making this is also a 5-star problem. 5-star problem. Let us take another problem. Look at the 14th problem. When the pressure ratio of a simple gas turbine plant with fixed turbine inlet temperature is increased, the thermal efficiency will be. It is asked like this: if the maximum temperature that is equal to turbine inlet temperature is fixed, RP is increased, what is the thermal efficiency of the Brayton cycle? What is the thermal efficiency of the gas turbine power plant? Since the gas turbine power plant is working by the Brayton cycle, indirectly is asking Brayton cycle efficiency. As we know, Brayton cycle efficiency equal to 1 minus 1 by RP rest gamma minus 1 by gamma. If RP increases, this factor is increasing. If the denominator factor is increasing, the whole factor is decreasing. 1 minus decreasing value will increase the Brayton cycle efficiency. From that, the conclusion is, if I increase the pressure ratio at a fixed turbine inlet temperature or maximum temperature, Brayton cycle efficiency increases. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. Option B is absolutely correct. Let us take another problem. Look at the 15th problem. The working pressure of a gas turbine is normally around, you can select around 4 bar. Among the given options, 4 bar is the correct option. It is generally in between 4 and 6 bar. The pressure ratio for the gas turbine power plant is around 4 to 6. That's why I can select the 4 bar. Once again, let me read the question. The working pressure of gas turbine as normally around. So for the gas turbine, generally gas is entering to the turbine around at 4 bar. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. Let us move to the another problem. Look at the 16th problem. The oxygen required for combustion in rocket propulsion is, dear friends, as you know, there are two kinds of jet propulsion systems. First one is air breathing systems. Air breathing systems. Second one, non-air breathing systems. Non-air breathing systems. Non-air breathing systems. The best example for non-air breathing system is rocket or rocket engine, can also be called as rocket motor. Whereas air breathing systems are turboprop, means turbo propeller, turbojet, ramjet engine, and pulse jet engine. Since the air breathing systems are flying within the atmosphere, therefore whatever the oxygen which is required for combustion is taken from the surrounding atmospheric air only. Whereas in rocket motor, since the rocket motor can fly in any medium and perfect vacuum also, it has to be carried the oxidizer, because by the time it is flying beyond the atmosphere, oxygen is not available surrounding to the rocket. Therefore, rocket motors are generally constructed to carry with two tanks. One is fuel tank, other one is oxidizer tank. Dear friends, remember the combination of oxidizer and fuel for the rocket motor is called propellant. That propellant may be available either in the form of solid propellant or liquid propellant. Anyhow, the oxidizer tank is required only for rocket motor. The oxidizer tank is carrying the required quantity of oxygen or oxidizer for the purpose of combustion. Let us take the problem once again. The oxygen required for combustion in rocket propulsion is taken from the atmosphere? No. Stored with the fuel? No. Supplied by the fuel? No. Supplied by the oxidizer. Option D is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take the last problem. Look at the last problem. A constant pressure gas turbine works on. Dear friends, remember, petrol engine is constructed to work on Otto cycle. That means Otto cycle is the ideal cycle for petrol engine. Similarly, diesel engine is constructed to work on diesel cycle. Diesel engine is constructed to work on diesel cycle means diesel cycle is the ideal cycle for diesel engine. Similarly, gas turbine power plant is constructed to work on the Brayton cycle. Brayton cycle can also be called as Joule cycle. That means Brayton cycle is the ideal cycle for the gas turbine power plant. Similarly, thermal power plants are constructed to work on the Rankine cycle. It means Rankine cycle is the ideal cycle for thermal power plant, whereas Brayton cycle is the ideal cycle for gas turbine power plant. Now our problem is constant pressure gas turbine power plant works on the Brayton cycle. Brayton cycle. So option D is absolutely correct. I hope all of you understood. My dear friends, since all these problems are equally important, you practice all these problems once again. If you find any difficulty, you please send all your doubts to the GeoByte. Definitely, I will answer all your questions within 24 hours. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And my request is please subscribe our channel called GeoByte. Thank you once again. Have a great day.
GeoByte.